It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Here we are, another Wednesday. Terry Brown, Vinny Hardy, Cats Talk Wednesday. I want to apologize. We've been kind of out of the loop from everything because we've been at our laptops eagerly awaiting Hunter Dickinson's decision. We've been spending all our time doing.
Man, I don't even know. Like, I can't keep up with all that. But good to be back. Sorry to be out last week. Caught my man Bruce Campbell last week here in town. Ended up going. I was VIP.
Mm-hmm. Got to talk about all that for sure.
Oh man, that just caught me off guard, man. So basically, real quick, Bruce Campbell, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. He was Sam Axe on Burn Notice. He's been in a lot of things. A few Marvel movies you need to check out. But that's for you, Vinny. But so I saw he was doing this tour, going to small theaters, and just, he does a little game show. He tells stories. I'm like, I like what he does. And so that was last Monday. I was like, okay, $20 gets me in the door. I can do $20. Wife Kate says, yeah, go ahead, go. I put it on Facebook. I'm excited. And a friend of mine sends me a message. Hey, I saw you going to the Bruce show. Would you like to meet him? I'm like, yeah. Okay, yeah. He's like, well, I know his tour manager. Let me see what I can do. All right, cool. Messages me back. All right, TB, you're good to go. Go to will call. You're good. Now, the venue, I don't know how many it seats, but I was $20 in the door. I'm in the balcony. I'm in the back balcony, which is fine because that's all I wanted for $20. I go to will call, 6 rows from the floor. And I'm like, well, this is pretty nice. This is like a $130 ticket. Okay, cool. And the guy at the will call said, hey, Mr. Brown. I said, yeah. He said, don't go too far. The VIP starts in just a little bit. I said, okay, all right. I'm ready to go. And there's about 40 people in VIP, and it was great. Met my friend's friend and met Bruce Campbell. It was great. He did a game show, trivia show, and told lots of fun stories. We watched Army of Darkness. He was coming out to give us little tidbits of information. So it's just watching one of your favorite movies by one of your favorite actors, and it was a good night. So I was glad I was able to do that, because when I first messaged you, I was like, look, the show's not until 8 local. I should be able to do most of the show, right? Mm-hmm. And then I got the message, hey, you need to get there early for the VIP. And I sent you a message like, Vinny, you gotta do something. You gotta do.
He's like, I'm out this week. I was like, all right.
Yeah, but it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. It was great, and anytime you get to do a little meet and greet, that's good stuff.
Absolutely. We got our guest in the green room. We got one right off the rip of multi appearances, and as we bring him on, I'm just gonna say, when I got your text, I was like, you was like meeting Bruce Campbell. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't know who that was. I was like,
yeah, he flies under the radar, right?
And so, my Kate and I was talking, and I know about the evil stuff and all that whole franchise. But she did watch Burn Notice. So I remember him from Burn Notice. I was like,
yes.
I do know that dude. All right.
Well, that's why the picture I sent you, I wore my black velvet jacket, because there was a dichotomy. The people that know him from the horror movies and the Burn Notice, suave, Sam Axe kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm wearing this velvet jacket. So I walk up to him and say, hey, nice jacket. I say, hey, you got to dress up. He's like, let's show the ladies what we got. That's why we kind of posing like that there.
I got you. And so I even put it in last week, because you've been on the forecast with Ben and H-Rap and everybody, and previewing movies and documentaries. I played the promo for that podcast, which is on BS3 Network, which our guest is part of BS3 Network as well. I even said I didn't know who he was. I brought it all. I added that as part of me going solo last week. I was like, Terry going to see this big celebrity, and I don't even know who it is. But come to find out, I did know him. I'll bring our guest in now because he probably knew who this man was as well. It's just like Ben and Dog.
We're going to do some laughing, though.
Yeah. So JR the Boss Man is with us again. He was just here a couple weeks ago, March Madness, talking about these playoffs. Last time he was here, the Hawks were still in it, and he was wanting to go on vacation. Now the Hawks are out, and so, maybe he is vacationing and whatnot. So we'll bring him on this.
Yes, indeed. Hey, I'm back and I'm on vacation. No more Chico DeBarge for me to September.
I thought about you when he did the game-winning shot, and I'm like, this is just
angry
fool
as hell, TB. I was ready. I was my damn phone. I was ready. I was angry as angry can be, and I must tell you, because of our dysfunction, that was a very quiet plane ride back, which tells you all you need to know.
Like we said before, they tired of him.
Yes, we all tired of him. Yes.
Here's my question. Now, obviously, he's rubbed. First of all, let me backtrack because we hear about different cities and the media, and hear the latest thing. Aaron Rodgers going from the Green Bay media to the New York media. New York media is tough. All this kind of stuff. The Boston media is this and that. The Philadelphia media is this and that. What's the Atlanta media like? You and your contemporaries, give us just a little description of what the Atlanta.
They're on their knees. They're bowing to the master. They don't want to piss off the Hawks, so they do pro stuff. Because if the media gets out of line, the PR guy will call, say, "Why do this?" A lot of teams do this. The Falcons do it too.
Okay.
They leverage your accents by what you write about the team or say about them on the radio.
So that leads me to this, which Trey's relationship, I don't know if with the entire media feels this way about him, but there's a lot of people that he's rubbed the wrong way, or
they feel that way about it, but it's going to say it out loud. Is
he not liking you because something you wrote or something you said on your show? What makes him be so chippy or on guard or disliking everybody? Or is it just because of criticism? He's
used to being loved, but this is the trick about that though, guys. He ain't loved. His own college coaches don't like him. Okay, he ate by himself. He always puts himself above the team. He does slick stuff. Then he gets called on it. He gets all defensive. Like, you're wrong. I ain't doing that. You don't know the whole story. We all know the story. You do slick stuff and don't want it. When you get called on it, you get defensive. You make it like we're seeing it the wrong way. Now with me, when I met the dude, we got into it 5 years ago. Okay, it was day one. He said, "Who are you?" I was here before you, MF. That's what I said to him. So we didn't get up on a good start to begin with. He came in with this like, who are you? Oh, dude, who are you?
Right. And it looks like it carries over to his teammates, like we talked about last time. If you watch how they interact, I know I don't want to be a body language expert.
You're correct, TB.
But if you've played ball, right?
They don't F with him, bro.
Just pick up basketball, right? A couple of trips up and down the court, you build something with the dudes just playing pickup ball.
Bruh, in game 3 or 4, right? The team playing well. He on the end of the bench not cheering for his teammates. Want them to cheer for him though.
I thought it was telling you sent the tweet. I guess his dad's tweet after they won. No disrespect to anybody else, but Quinn Snyder is the greatest. This and that.
So what was he doing? Taking a shot at Nate Miller in the LP
after one win, not even a series win, or we didn't even talk about a championship. We didn't even win one series. We're talking about one win.
Because a dude can't coach. Because Joe Mazzulla cannot coach. I'll put it out there. He won the Hawks games 3 and 5. Because he allowed it to go down. Who in a game 5 or closeout game throws in Dusty Blake Griffin and plays Sam Hauser? In a closeout game, the fourth quarter, he ain't played all series long. And you got Malcolm Brogdon going, and you got Derek White going because you're scared of him. He put in Marcus Smart. So the Hawks have not turned no corner, guys, as some of the media will have you believe here, who are fanboys and fangirls and are afraid to speak truth to power.
Well,
Let's be real. Joe Mazzulla's inexperience won them games 3 and 5.
Well, we talked about this before with the Hawks since Dominique was traded back in 1994. It's just been a lot of it's been a lot of fool's gold, right? Like, I don't remember there a time where you could say, I think the Hawks might win this series. Even when I think they won like 60 games that year, you just never felt that you were buying into whatever they were selling. And they've been stuck. I know we keep talking about it, but it's true in this
purgatory in the middle.
We're going to win this 40 to 43 games every year, right? We're going to be right here, good enough to get into the playoffs, maybe steal a game or two in the first round, but ain't nobody really think they're going to beat the Celtics, right? But you can't get a top pick because you're not quite that bad enough. Right. That's the worst place to be, but that's where Atlanta's been for 30 years.
Yes. I've never felt like TB and Vinny, oh yeah, we're gonna go deep. I'm like, second round at most. If we get the right matchup and we luck into it. Even the Bud years we played Cleveland and LeBron, they got found. I knew we was gonna get swept because Bud don't make any adjustments. He gonna let them shoot threes. I never felt like we had a chance to win.
And I don't know how you build a fan base like that, because the Sixers, at the very least, trust the process. We're going to stink, but we trying to do something, right? You can sell that a little bit. Like it doesn't work for me, but I understand that. But if you're just like, hey, here we are, where's the excitement come from? You don't have any draft picks.
Comes from the Atlanta fans are so thirsty. They think Trae Young's a guy. And I'm like, no, he's not. I've done many interviews this week saying what I'm saying to you all. People are getting mad at me because I'm telling the truth. Right, bro, like, we are not going to win with this dude. If you knew what goes on behind the scenes, you would know why I'm saying what I'm saying. And on the court, too. Some of the behind the scenes stuff, as you see, seeps out on the court, too.
And it's obvious. It's obvious, and we've talked before. You don't have to be best friends with the players you play with, right? We've seen teams win after fist fights and blah, 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 blah. But there's just the disconnect between Trae Young and the rest of his teammates.
On the road, he don't eat with him on the road, guys. I've told you before. On the road, he eats by himself. He don't take his teammates out. He's aloof. He's to himself. Fine. But don't be mad when nobody has your back, because you ain't got their back. You're the last one in, first one out in your sprinter van to leave.
Now, I got to ask you about someone else who's apparently worn out his welcome with his team. Let's talk about Mr. I Poke Bears, Dillon Brooks.
Yes. Dillon!
I mean,
well,
you know how I feel, but
all thing good he did was do that little dumb dance he does. That's all he do. He can't look. His dance kind of cool. I can't not other his little. That's all he. That's all I remember him for.
Dancing right on out of town, boy.
Yes. Hey, look here. The Memphis Grizzlies are some front runners, my brothers. They're one of the most front running teams ever. You know what they should do? They should trade for Trae Young. He'll fit right over in with them front runners over there.
But the thing is, with Memphis, and again, I'm biased of who they played in the first round, Vinny. But
yeah, the fake show.
Here you go. There you go. But
The fake show.
how does Memphis get back on track? Are they going to
Man,
be
look.
humbled enough to get back on track?
No, they're not. Because look here, when Usher's son out there on the court doing what he do, you know, let it burn out there. You make me want it out there. Usher's son. Desmond Bain wants a max deal. Jaren Jackson out here chasing bunnies throughout Mississippi and Memphis. We got problems, guys. There and then, like Steven Adams' knees messed up, my man. So like, look here, Memphis is that whole next man up team that don't exist, bro. You got to have players, and you have Memphis wants to sign the guys they draft and develop. I understand that. You have to branch out and bring in some star power. Now, granted, this new CBA is going to be messed up to build teams because of CJ McCollum wanted to get back at the Warriors, so he messed up the league and broke the CBA. So, Memphis, you got to pay Desmond Bain on an extension. How much do you give Desmond Bain? Do you trade for OG Anunoby and somebody else so he'll come help you? You know, Tyus Jones wants to start. Do you trade him away? You already got rid of old Stone Cold Brooks or
And he in a contract year, you say all the stuff you say, you blame the media for turning you into a villain, you punch LeBron in the junk, you lose these games. You get
remember Donovan Mitchell too.
Yeah. And then you lose, and then you don't even show up. You don't even do your media obligations. You just go out the back door, and then you let your teammates try to answer for what you did, or in this case, what you didn't do, for all the shots you missed,
you know what,
the defense you didn't play. You call LeBron and come after him, and then he goes 20-20 on you. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Vinny, you know what changed their season?
What?
Memphis.
It's a lot of different things.
I'm gonna tell you the moment it changed. When they went out to Shannon Sharp. And they finally got Shannon Sharp his hug with LeBron. That cardigan look, that meme. That's what changed their season, bro.
Because they lost like 8 out of 9 or something like that after that, right?
That Shannon Sharp incident sent them down the wrong path for good.
That's true.
And then you got the wannabe gangsters tell him to sit your blank down. Sit your blank down. You ain't bad. Like, come on, Usher's. Your daddy's Usher, my boy. You ain't hard. You live in Eads, my man. You live in Eads. You live I-40 East and Eads, bro. You ain't hard, bro. You live in a very protected part of Memphis, my man.
TB, I know you heard it. Bomani said we all owe Coach K an apology. Remember when Coach K, reprimanded him after the Oregon?
You better than this.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's not.
He said, I bad, Coach K. We apologize.
I was talking to my wife about this. Okay, you want to poke bears. You want to be that guy, right? You want to be the tough.
Mm-hmm.
That not everybody's built for that. Draymond is built for that, right? He don't mind getting the technical fouls, all that kind of stuff. But you can't do all that and be upset and be like, well, the media's painting me at the villain. No, man.
Remember what I said, TB? They all Memphis are front runners.
Right. You got to put in work if you want to be the bad boys. Like, we remember the bad boys Pistons, they put into work to one, be successful. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You're not, if you're not an all-star, your team ain't done nothing. What are you doing? Now, I'm not saying you need to cower to the stars, but you feel what I'm saying? Like,
be humble. Like, look here. I was there for Game 5. It was a fun game. We was out there whooping tricks and everything. Bruh, I'm gonna tell you how gangster I was. I'm in an Atlanta Hawks tracksuit doing whoop with a grizzly towel, doing whoop that trick. Game 5 in Memphis. Okay, it was a fun night seeing them beat Terry's little fake show team. I enjoyed it. They were talking cash junk to the Lakers. I get it. But in Game 6, they quiet as church mice. Because the Grizzly players always talking junk the whole time.
And then we got to whoop that trick there in Crypto Arena, which I never thought I would see.
Yes. Yeah. They have out saying whoop their trick, bruh. It was funny, but you know what? I look here. The Memphis Grizzlies, man. Look, I just think they needed their culture screwed up.
So
Because
what do you do? Is it a coaching change? Do you try to shake up the roster like you
he's
talked
a
about?
figurehead, man.
Paul Bunyan.
Now the coach is a figurehead. Yeah, he's a figurehead.
Paul Bunyan's a figurehead. I got.
Is Taylor something, isn't it? Tyler?
Yeah.
Mr. Jenkins, he was with the Hawks for a while with Budenholzer.
Yeah, looked like a lumberjack.
Yes. He like he's been WWE somewhere in a hardcore match.
So, like you said, it's messed up. And with Dillon Brooks, man, we see this all the time on Twitter. We've parted ways. We've this, we've that. It's all delicate. It's nice. We ain't bringing you back for no reason at all. Under no circumstances will you be back here again. It wasn't no niceties, no pleasantries, and we wish him well. Thank you for your service.
It wasn't none of that.
None of that.
It was just like, hey, sometimes things happen.
Nah,
I thought that was a little unnecessary.
They jumped off the top rope. They hit him from the top rope on the way out.
It was like,
it's funny, but I think that was a little unnecessary because it feels to me like we're talking about.
It got personal.
It's not just him though.
They must be.
They trying to say this was the dude that was. No, they need a complete culture change. It wasn't just Dillon Brooks. That was all my thing. Is
okay. One thing would be stop having Usher on the team playing everywhere you go.
That ain't gonna happen.
Usher living off of his dang wannabe gangster son's fame. And also Usher is their team barber too.
What?
Usher's 18 barber.
I all right. I don't know.
See, this ain't gonna fly. They're not gonna be able to tell. They ain't gonna tell John that, well, sir, we're gonna have some new protocols and new. It's too late. It's too late for all that now.
I'm telling you, all they did was send his mama to the suite. His mama used to be out of control. Miss Morant's been sent to the suite, but Usher gets to sit down low still. So Usher flies on the plane and cuts hair.
Miss Morant got some Miss Marshall in her. Sound like TP.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Morant got some damn sweets up there. She couldn't be down low. She was doing too much down low.
Wow.
All right, but looking at the playoffs as it is right now, we moved to the second round, the conference semifinals.
Mercifully for me.
Mercifully for you, the Hawks have packed it in and gone fishing. Is it safe to say Denver probably looks like the best team? Is that something we prepared to say, that the Nuggets have a squad?
Yes, Michael Malone can coach. And I'm going to tell you why I told somebody on the radio today. Phoenix traded away all of their depth, guys.
Yeah.
And now CP3 with annual groin injury.
Don't remind Vinny.
Let it groin, let it groin, let it groin. In the words of T. Morant says Usher, let it groin. But yes, with him being hurt, they got to play Cam Payne from Murray State, who's not the best point guard in the world. You got Landry Shamet, Bismack Biyombo, who's almost out of the NBA. Jock Londale, Josh Okogie, played Georgia Tech. Torrey Craig. And they signed Terrence Ross. He didn't even get on the court from Orlando.
Yeah.
You got rid of all your depth to trade for Durant, which I understand. Yeah. But the Denver's top 8 is solid. And you got Bruce Brown off the bench, Jeff Green, those guys off the bench.
KCP balling. If he done that, he'd still be in LA.
Yes, he would.
He's a sniper, and it's all about health though. They looking good right now.
They're healthy.
They're the healthiest team right now, but these injuries have ravaged all these squads. Look at this. This might sound crazy. We could potentially have been talking about a Milwaukee three-peat. They win it, but then the next year Middleton's out, and now this year Giannis goes out and they flame out in the first round. They could have won it. They could have went back-to-back if Middleton's healthy. They'd have been in the mix. But injuries, TB, you talk
Well,
about
I'll tell you, they could have won if
injuries
Bud
and
made
time.
adjustments. If Bud made adjustments, they could have won. Bud don't make no adjustments. Bud does not make adjustments. It's we're gonna play elbows and boxes and give up threes. They make too many of them, we'll lose. That's his defense. Seriously. You know, Denver is doing things. They're scary. They're healthy and scary. I think things goes down in 5 games in that series. With CP growing out.
Unbelievable.
You know, and then the other series. Other series, Terry's team, the fake show, got over last night. Why Darvin Ham trying to contest the shot on the court? And Chris Gent, who I know personally. Why are y'all in the court trying to contest shots, Chris and Darvin? What's wrong with y'all?
They saw Kim Mulkey do it. They figured they can do it too.
Yeah, like, come on, man. But I'm going to tell you what the problem was, guys. I watched the film on this. Had Jordan Poole and Draymond fake show Green, obviously he has a man crush on the GM. He done his job and ran down the court. Steph would have been double team like that. He should have either drove at Anthony Davis, got him in rotation, throw the Poole and Thompson for a corner 3. I'll live with that shot. Or you run the court, get a Poole closer. So had Draymond Green and Jordan Poole ran the floor like they supposed to and go to the system, Poole would have been shooting a 28-footer. And I don't trust that guy to do nothing. I feel like they got fleeced. He ain't worth 4 years and 140, in my opinion.
Yeah, so far he's not.
But Rob Pelinka I'll say, I don't trust Rob Pelinka for nothing. He tells a lot of lies. But he made what he could using that first round pick in the Westbrook contract to remake that roster. I will give him his kudos on that. For Terry's team, he's wearing that jersey. What is that? Whose jersey you wearing? You wearing Shaquille O'Neal?
I got Bean.
Bean, okay. I'll go with that. I'll go with you having Bean on. So yes, because I'm not a fan of that joke on TNT for many reasons. But
I'll take
fun the game though.
Yeah, I take it. I know. I'll take that. Oh, my freezer.
TB frozen. Okay, he back.
There he is.
Hey, TB. This is gonna be the problem for you all. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is gonna be for you all. With it being every other day, the longer it goes, the more tired LeBron AD gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I think
AD some long minutes.
Attrition will get you in 6 games or 7, in my opinion.
Golden State was fresh off of Game 7 going into Game 1. So,
but they're not as LeBron and AD. Those minutes are gonna catch up with them because that's why they lost Game 5 in Memphis. They were tired.
I like that though. Remember that when they went through that period where it was 3 or 4 days between games. I like the grind. I mean, we get the consistency, and if you tired, if you gassed, it's the playoffs. You can't hide. You gotta get your day off, do the most you can to recoup, get back out there.
And if you were chasing Curry and Thompson, will weather them out too. Like Golden State wanted to win that game, they probably should have won that game. You made 15 more threes in them, but because of AD, because of playing Looney with Draymond, you got them in the paint just sitting there chilling. So you ain't get to the line. But I think Steve Kerr would downsize and just play one of Green and Looney, not together, to to force one of them out of the paint.
Right. If you let AD camp in the paint, we know Vinny. I mean, that's a wrap, man. You let him protect the rim, that's a wrap. But I'll take it. Like I was telling Vinny before we got on, JR, it got to the point last night where I'm like, the Lakers got to win. If you get this game out of AD, you got to win this one, right? If he's playing this many minutes, he's got to win. It's like Vinny, I was saying against Minnesota in the play-in game. If LeBron's going to play 45 minutes at his age, you got to win that game. You cannot, give that one up. So, again, I'm not saying that the Lakers will win the series, but I'll take the game 1 win.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's attrition going to get the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is there were a couple of those games against Memphis where LeBron didn't have to play a lot of minutes because you only get so many turbos at this age, and you don't want to use your turbos early in a loss, right? So I'm with that. Now looking to the East, who you got?
Yeah, every other, Bob said one point. Every other day, watch out for that. That's on every other day.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment as a Lakers fan. Yeah, the every other day, yeah, that's going to be a little bit rough to manage the minutes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's not that far, but it's still travel.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, you up in the air, it still does something very different to your bones. He's asked me about how these having watched Boston up close and personal, I think Glenn is going to outcoach Joe Mazzulla, which is saying a lot.
He already did in game one.
Yes.
You talking about his experience.
You cannot, bro. I love Al Horford and Robert Williams, but right now they're unplayable. And then in pick and roll coverage, you playing drop coverage or switching 1 through 5, 15, which you see him say he does this 15. That means switch 1 through 5, or he goes defensive means drop. So he's only playing 2 coverages. He's not doing anything to throw off Harden. So yeah, you're gonna play drop coverage with James Harden going. You're crazy. Then you switching with Al Horford on the James Harden. Ugly. So and he did this without Joel Embiid. Now I'm telling you. I've been told the man need worse than what they letting on. Okay? But he's going to play. That's on him. And he falls too much, he's going to get even probably more injured. That's on him, though. But I think Glenn's going to outcoach Mazzulla. And I think, ultimately, Miami's going to outcoach the Knicks because Tom Thibodeau don't make any adjustments. And we saw what happened last night. Scott Foster in second half said, Knicks ain't going to lose this game. I'm serious.
Is it wrong that you can look at the referee assignment?
No, it's not wrong. We all know it.
Yeah, but
Scott Foster, man, and that everybody know that name.
Yeah,
hey, bro. But those of us in the league, when we see certain guys assigned in the playoffs, we know what time of day it is. Seriously. Mm-hmm. Think about this. Scott Foster worked in Atlanta for a reason. He had Derek White and Brown in foul trouble. I wonder why.
They're defenders.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like, we all know in the league, certain officials are there to do certain things.
But David Stern said it's just one rogue official back in 2008. He said it was
the leader and the ruler, David Stern, was a liar. Brother Vinny, there's no such thing as that. Brother JR is telling you a story. No, David, we all know you saying certain people. Tony Brothers, Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, David Guthrie, Mark Davis, Ben Taylor. We know. We know what time of day it is. Whoever's down is gonna get some calls.
Yeah. And the Knicks still tried to cough it up.
Bruh, how about Tom Thibodeau? He did cut his hair off. He need to come on home, man.
Hey, yes.
That turnover was getting worse and worse about a second.
I was looking at that too, and look, Mark, we in Kentucky, I think Mark Stoops kind of needs to do that too, but Tibbs is even worse than Stoops. It was so thin and so barely trying to stretch it.
Bruh.
That hand. I said, "Ooh, man!" I said, "Tom."
Yes, my man.
Let Josh Daddy go and cut that off for you since he the barber.
Let Usher do. Let him cut it off for you. Come on, man.
Clean that up. Yes, sir.
Man, yes. But nah, the Knicks, I just feel like last night was a Scott Foster special. We can't let them go down 2-0 without Butler. That's what's done. Certain officials are sent to certain games for certain reasons. Okay. It's not said. It's not told to do it. They know what they do.
It's the worst kept secret.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's been like that.
Yes.
As long as I've been watching the league.
Yes. In the playoffs, the referee assignments are very important. Seriously.
Yeah, because you end up with that situation like was that Joey Crawford that threw out Tim Duncan for laughing on the bench, and
Yes.
he still did games. Like, how was that even like? Anyway,
Yes,
let
Joey
me say that.
Crawford's funny though. He's actually not a bad dude when you talk to him off the court.
Flip that switch
know,
when game time comes. Got to flip the switch.
You know the problem is, two guys, which is not known in the league. The officials stay at the visiting hotel sometimes. I don't think that's cool, but it happens.
You know, I don't know if I've ever thought about
their accommodations. I have.
Yeah, the officials. I know, like, you know,
like in Memphis,
they get them
the Westin in Memphis, you'll see the officials stay at the same hotel the teams stay at. No lie.
Wow.
I've seen officials with groupies, okay, in Memphis, in Atlanta, and all over the league. In Charlotte, the hotel's right by the arena.
Yeah.
The officials stay there too.
Just over there. Mm-hmm.
Orlando, right by the arena, the hotel. Officials stay at the hotel, and we stay here too. So I don't think it's cool that officials stay at the same hotel the visiting teams, because that means for everybody in the league, you kind of build a rapport with the official, talk to them, and then that inherent bias comes in. Well, this guy nice to me. I've had coffee with him at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it to me, a integrity of the game thing to me, guys. It's not really talked about very much.
Yeah,
I know I never thought about where the officials stay when they travel.
No, I ain't either. I just think about them, you know, sometimes, you know, catch a flight here, whether they got to go, they got to be here tomorrow or they got to be here the next, but never where they stay when they land or none of that. Never even got that deep with it. But,
yeah, sometimes, it's the same hotel and team days, the visiting team days, so the home teams don't got to get screwed because the officials have been talking to some guys at the hotel. You never know.
And all this insider access, man, boss man, we can't thank you enough. Coming here on your vacation. Come in here.
Yeah.
Man, I am so happy to be on vacation. I mean, that's stupid. When I saw that damn shot go in, I about ready to choke everybody around me. You know how angry I was that shot going in?
Excitement postponed, man.
I want to go down there and choke Joe Mazzulla, okay?
Look what you done did.
Yes.
I was so excited, like, yes, this will be over. Yeah, I'll be done Wednesday. Thank God. But then,
the inevitable got delayed, and you was hot about it.
Man, bro. I was such a bad movie that when I was driving I was flying to Memphis, bro. I was so damn mad on that Wednesday, bro, flying to Memphis. But the whoop that trick part paid it off for me. Seeing them Memphis Stallions. Lord, the Memphis women. Thank you very much, Memphis women, for your love for me. Like, who this doing now? Because, see, I stood out because I'm in a Red Hawks tracksuit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, who this dude? Oh, yeah, so, yeah, it was funny.
You had a plan. You knew what you was doing. Man, keep relax enough for us. Exhale, kick your feet up, you know. Rest up from that grind you've been on for all these months. And
7 months of grinding keep on the barge.
Yes, man. So,
but it's always good to have you on, JR. You the guest to be bringing it, because we always bring you right at the top. Usually you get a guest on, you got to kind of lead people into it. But right off the top, we love leading off with you, man.
No doubt. If y'all want to take about a place and deal with Chico the barge, you'd be more than happy to do that.
No, I'm good.
Go on TV. Go on TV.
I know Vinny been off that Hawks since November 1994.
Yo.
So you want to take my place and deal with him every day, y'all can for a week or so.
Get that credential, TV. Go ahead.
See what happened was.
I'll let that Atlanta Sports Information Department. Let's go get
I'm
TV.
I'm good, you know.
Hey, the payoff is you to hang out with Shelby Mack, Tony Delk, you guys,
Oh yeah. Vinny and TD, y'all partners in crime too.
That's it.
Yes, because Vinny the Cowboy fan, he's the Titan fan, which I don't understand why he's a Titan fan.
Because he's from Tennessee, he's from Brownsville, and so
I've been through there. I've been through Brownsville. Ain't nothing here. I said, TV, ain't nothing here.
And I still get to every time Dallas lose, he would be texting and talking that trash, and then the Titans. Started off 7-3, and then they lost 7 straight to finish the season. So he didn't text as much. The text got a little less frequent, you know. So
I asked him about Will Levis. He said he's a UK guy. I said, don't mean nothing. He still sucks.
Well, there you go.
We
Thank
gonna-
you, JR. Have a day. Appreciate you.
Hey, I'll see you.
poking at
I'll
us
see you
over
all soon, man. Hey, the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, start selling your house, brother. You out of there, brother. You're
Yeah.
gone. He
Yeah.
gone. So sell your house, man.
this rebuild they gonna go through is gonna be something else, man. We'll holler back at you, man.
Hey, y'all be easy. Love y'all guys. Hold it down. Cats Talk Wednesday. BS3. Check these brothers out. We in there. We out.
I
See y'all guys.
He gave us a little drop there. I appreciate that, JR. Like he been doing this before.
Exactly. Appreciate you, man.
All right,
Thank you,
see
sir.
y'all, brothers.
Boss Man Show, JR the Boss Man. Yeah, he's a professional. He's done this a time or two. Sure has.
But can we talk about Will Levis?
And he got his dig in. And
But I saw the Big Blue Nation in meltdown, right?
Mhm.
And look, I would have hoped he would have gone to the Colts at 4 or 5, whatever that Anthony Richardson pick.
Mhm.
Because with Anthony Richardson, to me, and again, I'm no evaluator, I didn't see it. I saw the physical tools, but I watched a lot of Florida games and I didn't see it. You know, where he makes that throw, makes that play to make you, oh, okay.
Mhm.
And for all the stuff about Levis had some throws and some plays, maybe not as much this past season, but the year before, okay, I can see it, right? He was probably more banged up than we thought, right? So you go into the draft, right? And he's the 4th or 5th best quarterback. And he was the 4th or 5th quarterback taken. Once you kind of get out of those top picks, everybody else is pretty much okay with their quarterback position.
Yep.
And with the Titans moving up in the 2nd round to get him, I thought was a pretty good situation. For me, I know watching him in the green room, that was terrible. I read an article on Awful Announcing that said that the broadcasters weren't going to do that. And I was like, well, they didn't get the memo. I think that's unfair.
Mhm.
Because now you're just embarrassing a kid for what? And ESPN kept showing, well, there's a 0.1% that he'd still be. We're still watching him, right? Like
Mhm.
at some point we need to move off of this because it does seem cruel to do that, even if it's Lamar Jackson a few years ago and
Your boy Aaron Rodgers 20 years ago.
yeah, but then he messed around and said the 49ers are going to make him pay, and then he turned around and went 0-4 against the 49ers in the playoffs, which is a record for one quarterback versus another team. But I thought that was a little unfair. I mean, for me, the draft, it is what it is. I don't get the hubbub, but that's just me. I think for me, I'm not a big draft guy because my Niners have been drafting really, really well.
Mhm.
Hufanga, who was an all-pro safety this year, was like a 4th or 5th round pick. Kittle was a 4th or 5th round pick. Like we've been finding some gems in the back part of the draft.
Mhm.
So, my thing is when training camp comes, I'll see who we got. But it's just rare in the NFL side to get one guy in the draft and then miraculously turn it around.
Mhm.
Right? Even if you get a Troy Aikman, he going through a 1-15 season, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and I even read, Joe Montana was the 4th quarterback taken
Mm.
after Phil Simms
Wow.
and a couple of other people that I was like, I don't know who these people are. But so, it happens, right? Jerry was a 13th or 14th pick in the draft. That to me is like, okay, with the NBA draft, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I'm just spitballing, right? If you top 15, you'd have to think that's where most of your Hall of Famers come from. You would think, right? Top
Mm-hmm.
15 picks in the draft. You would think, right? You got outliers, of course, but you would just think, you know, Jordan was top 3. You know, you can just go through and just say, okay, where were these picks? I, if I had to wager, you know, recently great players. I mean, Steph at what 8 or 9 might be the latest, you know,
Yeah.
de facto pick.
Mm-hmm. Like first ballot, no
Right.
brainer Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Lakers fans get on me because Bean was in the teens as well, but high
Oh
schoolers,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that's a little different. But my point
Mm-hmm.
is, you can get an NBA, you can draft a person 1, 2, 3, and they can make over your team. That's one reason I like basketball, particularly NBA basketball, because you get moments like Steph Curry Game 7, where one person, we're gonna win this. I ain't got to wait on the defense to get, you know, to get me the ball back. You know, if you're a batter, you got to wait a couple innings to come back around. But basketball, it's just I'm going to keep coming, and there's nothing you can do. That's what I love. It's those moments where you're just like, you know, the player is great, but then they just take over the game in the playoffs, right? And that's what AD did last night. You know, that's what Jimmy Butler. Now that is the dude that when it comes time for the Hall of Fame, I know he was drafted, but he's going to be on that short list of we did not see this coming.
Have to get your
It,
cousin's thoughts on that too, because he is a Heat fan. Mitch Brown coming up. I thought for some reason I thought he was a Lakers fan, maybe because he's a Brown. I just figured y'all was all Lakers fans, but he is a Heat fan, and so he definitely got to talk Jimmy buckets with him coming up, and he was there at the draft, so get his thoughts on the whole vibe out there
right.
in Kansas City. And I'm with you going back to Anthony Richardson. I hope he succeeds for all the right, all the reasons in the world. You're still hoping to see black quarterbacks do well. But I'm jaded because we saw the Cats go down to the swamp where they've only won twice in our lives. 2018 to break the streak, and then last year, Anthony Richardson, all this hype, he lit up Utah, and he's a Heisman, this, that, and we shut them down.
But he really didn't even light up Utah. That's the thing.
Yeah. Never completed more than 60% of his passes. 50%, 59.4 in 2021, 53.8% last year. Now, that used to be a knock on a lot of folks. You can't complete 60% of your passes. But for some reason, he's exempt of all of that. And he's the best athlete at the quarterback position ever. I mean, like Cam Newton and Lamar, we done forgot about them already. He's got more upside than anybody. Everybody in Indianapolis is just supposed to forget about Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. And so he's just it for some kind of reason. I don't understand it either.
I don't get it because, again, you can point to moments, even if, Josh Allen, where he played in college, Trey Lance, right? Where there were moments where it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That to me is my eye test.
Florida was 6-7. One of the few losing seasons they've had in their illustrious past 30 years since Spurrier's been there 35 years ago. They don't lose. Ron Zook was garbage when he was there, and now last year they go 6-7, and
I don't get it.
That squad is.
I'm sure he's a good young man, but I don't get it because it used to be. This is the one thing I liked about the draft. It used to be the only time we saw Kentucky players was in somebody else's highlight.
And truth be told, we saw more of that this draft than I thought we would. We the homeboy from Mississippi State, the pick six, Levis. the dudes from Iowa that was getting drafted, they were sacking Levis. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah,
God.
Riley Moss from that. Yeah.
I'm like,
So
oh God, we still
But-
on the wrong end of these highlights more than I thought. Yeah.
but when Richardson got drafted, and they're like, well, we got some questions. There's a Kentucky play at pick 6, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
we're moving. And look, man, for me, it was just Levis was the 4th quarterback or 5th quarterback out of 4 or 5 quarterbacks. That's just all it was to it. Well, he was too cocky. What? That don't even hold scrutiny. Have you seen an NFL quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was entitled. Have you seen an NFL quarterback?
Yeah.
Well, the whole banana thing and the mayo and the coffee, that's crazy. But the NFL don't care what you do. The NFL does not care.
Mm-hmm.
Up to committing felonies.
Yeah.
If you can play, you're going to play.
He hasn't played a lot, but Anthony Richardson's played less than him. So
right.
There's a lot of stuff that was weird.
I don't know. I just think he was the 4th or 5th quarterback. The chatter got built up that he was going to be a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually looked at who was drafted, it all got onto the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And what the Colts were going to do, they sold themselves on Richardson. And so Levis is just hanging out there to dry. But
And the Titans came up at 11, and they picked like an offensive lineman. And then I think it's 16, the Commanders. And I thought, well, they could maybe, because Carson Wentz didn't work out, and the Tyler Heineke dude, like they might sneak up and just surprise everybody and decide to take one. And then when they didn't, I was like, oh, well,
yeah,
boy,
like, oh yeah, he's gonna be sitting for a while.
yeah,
and I hate that for him, because obviously you want to see the Kentucky guys do well, but I think he landed in a good situation.
yeah. They like JR was saying, Tannehill's probably not going to be there long, and he had big money, and he's starting to get hurt and all that kind of stuff. They're going to rebuild. I don't know who he's going to throw. I don't know who anybody's going to throw to, because they don't have any receivers. But he probably doesn't have to play right away. Tannehill's still there, and the dude that they drafted last year, Malik Willis, whatever, he played. So come in and kind of learn the ropes and that kind of thing. And
Yeah,
maybe next year it's time for you to step in and you can do some things. I like the fact that all these dudes are in the same division. Bryce Young's in Houston, Richardson's with the Colts, Levis with Tennessee. So they all gonna see each other twice a year for the foreseeable future. So we gonna see. The dust is gonna settle, and we'll see. And all these revisionist draft stuff, we'll find out pretty soon.
well, and the thing is, particularly in the AFC, you got to get this right.
Yeah.
You look at the AFC quarterbacks: Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm. Justin Herbert at San Diego was a bad boy.
Right. And
Trevor Lawrence is
Trevor
coming.
Lawrence. You got to bring it, right?
Old man Aaron is in New York.
Okay. Yeah, him too. But my point is, the NFC is more, we're going to ground and pound. The NFC in general has become what the NFC East used to be.
Yeah.
We just gonna grind on you, right?
Mhm.
I told you on this very show, during last season, I'm not worried about any team in the NFC besides Philadelphia.
And man, I hate to give them credit, but Lord, they getting all
They're gonna be a problem.
All them Georgia boys, golly.
And so for me, as a 49ers fan, I'm like, we need to get some help on the O line.
Mm-hmm.
Like we gotta do that, because that's how Purdy got hurt, right? Not Trent Williams' side, because he's got that on lock, but it's the guards in the center.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta work on that, because if you're gonna beat Philadelphia, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, again, I didn't think our defense played that poorly in the NFC Championship game. It just got to the point you ain't got no offense. What are you doing?
He was out there all day. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But if you say Philadelphia is going to be the best, and I think that's a fair assessment, they got better.
Pains me. It pains me, TB. It hurts me.
I know it hurts your spirit to say, but then, my Niners, I would believe would be number 2. I mean, yeah, it's a big question mark. Who's the quarterback, right? I get that.
Y'all work around that better than most teams do, to be honest.
And I need to have the numbers in front of me. When the 49ers quarterback plays a full season, it's NFC Championship or better. We have to keep the dude healthy, period.
Yeah.
So for me, and I've said this before, we had Jimmy G, right? Don't lose us a game, but you got to make 1 or 2 plays. Can Sam Darnold do that? Maybe. If it called, but I still believe in Trey Lance. They're going to go with Trey Lance because they gave up a lot to get him. They're not going to move on from Trey Lance after 5 starts.
Right.
So you see Trey Lance, you kind of have an idea what Purdy can and cannot do. But you have to win when you've got a couple of quarterbacks on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Before you start playing them.
Mm-hmm. Now, man, we got to talk this week too. Now it's Derby week, and everything is popping in your city. Saturday it'll be Derby 149. So
yeah,
man, it's
the longest running continuous sporting event in the United States of America. Before the World Series, there was the Derby. It makes me homesick seeing the pictures of Churchill Downs and different things, and girls are going around doing different events. So it makes me homesick. Try and talk the missus into going next year so we can go for Derby 150, 150, and take that all in. As I've said on this show before, and I've tweeted out, I really don't want to listen to Louisvillians or Kentuckians. I don't even like the Derby. Nobody asked, right? Like, I'm not going to listen to other people. It's just a Derby, but like, we know about Mardi Gras, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that? Just a party because of Lent's coming up. Like, okay, we know about Puxatawny Phil. We know about all these different areas. It's okay for a little bit of time on the first Saturday in May that everybody turns their attention toward my home state and my hometown. As I think we talked last year, my first one away from Louisville. When you hear my old Kentucky home not being in Kentucky, it's a little different. And I know the song. Like, look, a black person, been black for 45 years. I understand, but still, when the sun shines bright, kind of hits a little bit different. But we're gonna have a friend of the show, Adam Jacoby, gonna come over and watch the Derby with me.
Oh, cool.
And everything. But I'm excited. It's the best time to be in Louisville and Kentucky. Get you some bourbon, bet on some horses. Like everything else, sure, there's some downsides, but to me, it's a pretty big deal.
So when you do, which I'm a Kentuckian, but I still gotta get that Derby checked off my box. When it's over, do you just hang out where you are and wait for it to thin out? Because leaving has got to be difficult, right?
The good news is this, and my dad used to be part of. There's always a plan, right? Because you're going to have 150,000 people at the track.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have even more just coming to the city. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And that's places where stuff happens annually, like Mardi Gras, they kind of got it down, right? So it's not that bad. That's one of the things when you look at the having the Super Bowl rotate is you got to have a traffic plan. You got to move people. You've got to have places to stay. You've got to have that infrastructure. It's why cities like Indianapolis, has it a lot. I've heard bad things about. Is it Houston? Is that where Super Bowl was this year? Not great setup, but to me, I've had no problems when I go to the track. Yeah, I stay, and and make a day of it. I don't do the infield. I'm 20 years past my infield problem. Done it a few times.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Uh-huh.
I'm good with that. That's why I told the missus. She's like, well, I want to go to the infield. I said, oh no, baby, that's not how we do. Because my parents used to go box seats. Like they did it way back in the day. I was just talking to Mama B about that. She had her hats and this, that, and the other, and everything like that. That's how I like to do it. Let me put on my finery. Let me get close to the Millionaires Row. I saw a guest list, man. Patrick Mahomes going to be there. He's going to do the call to post, which is always pretty cool. And there's always good. It's always good celebrity watching.
Yeah. You get those celebrity pairings that you normally would never see. But
and that's so Friday night. That's the night, right? Just hang around downtown Louisville because all the fancy hotels have things. There's red carpets all over the place. You don't know who you're going to see. That's how I ran into Warren Moon in the Galt House. He was at the bar, and I'm walking. I'm like, that looks like Warren Moon. And then you get close. It's like, oh yeah, he's 6'4". Okay. And we had talk. We had told him my dad and I used to watch him with the Oilers and the Vikings, and really really nice guy. But it was just kind of him at a kind of half crowded bar. You'll see people because it's still a place to be. Now the Barnstable Brown party, that's the I guess the fancy one. Tom Brady goes to that one. The entertainment at that one is Boys to Men.
Okay.
So,
every year.
Yeah. They've become guests, but they will do like a set or two. They're like, okay, if your entertainment is Boys to Men, but then I need to see. The Urban League used to have a grown folks music or grown folks kind of thing. I know you went and saw some folks a couple weeks ago. Is that kind of thing where we talk about. Now I can't remember how it was phrased on Twitter, but it's who is the most famous black person or black group that white people don't know about. And so the consensus kind of was with that question, Frankie Beverly and Mays, right?
Yeah,
Everybody got an aunt that been to them concerts, right?
The Isley Brothers too. There's some white folks don't know them. I was thinking,
right? But that's my. And so I would love to go back, do some part. The only thing is, and I'm ranting. Friday night's great beforehand. Saturday night, I don't go out Derby night.
After the Derby.
One, is too crowded. And two, every dive bar's got a $30, $35 cover charge. And I'll be like, what the hell?
Cashing in, boy.
Yeah, man. That's the downside.
We're making our profit. We in the red because of the Derby. I mean,
look, man.
Making our margins.
You better gas up Tuesday of Derby week.
Oh.
Gas up on Tuesday. Because that goes up. Get your groceries early in the week. Because that goes up. You go into the club. All right. And that's okay. Everybody got to make some money. Yeah. I ain't. I'm going on.
We get into black Derby week. We make our money for the year.
Well, even before there was the thing where you can rent houses, Airbnb, the houses and people around the Derby, they make bank. They've been renting out houses all I can remember.
Yeah.
Some of those
in the yard and all that.
I mean, yeah, you charge it used to be $20-$30. It may be $50 to park all day during Derby, but $50 a car, you get 10, 12 cars in your yard. I know people that use that for, whomst amongst us can't take an extra $600.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Like that's me. Because they interviewed a guy one year, and that's the thing too. It rains, it snows, it's been cold, it's been windy, it's been hot on Derby. So my horticultural advice, don't plant anything until after Derby.
Hmm. And I don't know about Louisville this year, but it's May. This been a chilly spring. It's still 40 something at night, and it's only getting to like 60 in the daytime down here. So it might be a chilly Derby this
It's
Saturday. It's cold.
it,
It's cold out here.
it's chilly here all the time out here in the Midwest.
Oh,
It'll be
man.
hot for a couple of months and it'll be back chilly again. But I'm excited to Derby. Again, I have picked 2 Derby winners in my life.
Uh-huh.
One, first grade, 1984 Derby. I picked Swale out of a hat, and the horse broke its leg after the Derby. They had to put the horse down.
Man.
And then I picked Big Brown back in 09.
Of course.
But I felt I kind of had to pick Big Brown.
Mhm.
I mean, I had to do that. Mama B made money on, I want to say this was 88, 89. Lil E.T. won the Derby, and her initials, Eva Terry, E.T., so she put money on that. But it's a crapshoot, man. Like, I don't be gambling or nothing, man.
Nah, I'm not a betting man. I don't know how they, they'll do the projections. They'll do it now before the race. They'll, visually kind of preview how that, based on the running style.
Yeah.
This one's going to get out early. Well, this one's a closer. This one likes to rail, and they'll.
Oh, nobody know, man.
It's never going to do that. And my dad always said, that horse might just might not feel like running that day. You got to factor that into it. That sounds real simple, but
it works. Well, and the thing too. So as the horses are going around, and again, there's 125,000 people here. There's a moment on the back stretch where they're facing the barns, the horses are, but they'll make that turn and it hits the grandstand, and the jockeys talk about the wall of noise and how that's where horses, there's that moment where you've got to be prepared for that. Because, there's other big races, right? The Louisiana Derby, and, they race at Keeneland too.
Yeah.
But there's just something when you got that many people and that wall of noise and cheering hits these horses. This is the biggest crowd they'll ever be in front of. And, some of the horses don't do it. Then some of the horses like Secretariat. I got this.
Man, just 50th anniversary of that, which ended with him just, killing everybody at the Belmont, but it had to get its start like every Triple Crown does at the Derby.
But real quick, though, can I talk about Dillon Brooks a little bit more?
Because
so, Adam, he's a Lakers fan as well.
Oh my God!
And
how did I not know this?
So game 3, where the Lakers come out and beating their brakes in, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever Dillon Brooks touched the ball or did anything, the way that crowd booed was different for an LA crowd. I was telling the wife. I said, the thing about LA crowds is they come, they cheer, they're great, but they're not really vicious like other venues because LA crowds don't care enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it was like that during the 80s, the Celtics and the Lakers. But other than that, when they're playing teams, you're playing the Pistons, not a lot of venom, right? 91. Of course, you got Michael Jordan. Nobody really booing, right? Mm-hmm. During the three-peat, you're not going to boo Allen Iverson, right? Or the Pacers or the Nets. Right. Okay, right?
Todd McCullough, y'all couldn't stand him.
Right. Now, 08 and 10, yes, with the Celtics. But that was more of we just booing the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that guy. They gave that dude the business in a way I've never seen an LA crowd do because that's not what they do in LA.
Y'all got East Coast with it, didn't they?
I mean, I was like, that's different than what you ordinarily get in LA. Because trying to explain to the wife, because she's part of the baseball Twitter, and they make fun of the Dodgers fans being late to the party. Second inning they kind of show up. I'm like, yeah, that's what they do in LA. That's how the Lakers do.
Laid back,
right?
Not
One,
no
the traffic is terrible always,
yeah.
and two, it's LA.
Mm-hmm. Just the vibe. It's just a whole chill, and then you see and be seen. And you come in late, you can be seen.
Right.
The whole thing.
I mean, that was. Look, I'm tired of the Knicks being good. I've reached my point of
already.
When the Knicks are good, the NBA. Look. Let's say that your memories, you can remember things. You start at 5, right? Mm-hmm. You can start remembering things. Mm-hmm. That means the people that can remember the Knicks' last championship are at least 68 years old.
Wait a minute.
58. Sorry, 58. 58.
They won a 73, right?
73. So you're born in 68.
55 years old. Yeah. 55.
So my thing is, how do we know? How do we know
that the league is better when the Knicks are good?
That the league is better. Now, look, I understand Madison Square Garden when they're playing, it's great. But that's just because it's a rarity that the Knicks are good. Yeah. That's my thing. Can we come off that a little bit?
That's one of those adages that are just
you keep saying it enough.
It's in the stone.
Right. But I'm like,
Red Flintstone them chisel that in and it's not coming out.
This is their deepest run in 30. Come on now. Come on. No, I think they won a first round game. Was it last year? Anyway, the point is.
Oh, right.
I'm tired of the Knicks. I'm tired of every NBA person telling me the league's better than the Knicks are good because the Knicks have been doo-doo for 20 years and we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Their highlight is the feud with the Heat. And then the Heat went on and won championships.
With PJ Brown suplex Charlie Ward. Allen Houston hit that little shooter.
And that game finished 76-77. Yeah. I don't want to go back to that. Yes. Look, I understand, when I was growing up, that stretch from the end of the 90s into the 2000, that was not beautiful basketball. Because I had to go back, look up some of the scores from the Lakers 3-peat, 88-82. That is not a fun game to watch. That is a grind for an NBA game.
Yeah. 48 minutes, all those possessions. Yeah,
what are we doing here? I don't want to go back to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I had to get on Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, and then a contract year, man. Well, you don't do it ever. But when you're in a walk year, you're about to be entering into free agency. That's when you do all this.
One, they making him the scapegoat. Because I've never seen a team be like, under any damn, that seems unnecessary. Be like, yeah, good luck to you. I'm like, they didn't say all that. Arthur Blank didn't say all that when Mike Vick got caught fighting dogs. Under no circumstance, he was like, he got to go, which we understood. But under no, that seemed unnecessarily harsh. But the point is this: you can't be like Tupac and say all eyes on me. And then when we look at you, get mad. That's not how this works. Everybody says they want to be the bad guys, right? That's not how most of us are built. You want to be the bad guy, you got to be the bad guy all the time. You look at the Miami Heat that first year with LeBron, the decision, not one, not two, and they were hated. It was different, right? Now, especially if you've been adored and now you become the villain, ain't a lot of people built for that. That's what we talked about the Pistons. That what made them work because all them dudes were built to be the bad guy.
Every night in Philadelphia, in New Jersey, in Milwaukee, in Dallas, wherever
the
they
bad guys.
Hey, they was, they didn't shy away from it. They was ready to mix it up. It didn't matter. This is us.
Right. And and Jordan, his whole thing, this is what I'm gonna do, right? Magic come to town with a smile on his face, then you look at he done beat us by 20 points. What in the world? But being the bad guy, it's not easy. Right. That's one thing I have found is
Chris Bosh struggled with it. LeBron struggled with it.
LeBron has admitted, like, I can't. So they had to change it up. You can't be the bad guys. But if you're going to do that, if you are going to eye poke bears, you got to show up when you lose.
Somehow.
Like, for me, this is, and I know it's a different era. We give all these people, because you remember, I can't think of the player's name. What was that dude's name? Back when LeBron was in Cleveland the first go round and he was playing the Bullets. I can't remember. But like Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But Lance Stevenson, there was everybody else. And so he just messing with LeBron. And we gave him a bunch of stuff. And then like he had Soldier Boy courtside, repping him. And the next game, LeBron had Jay-Z. That's the difference. I'm like, why are we giving these things aren't equal? Right? Like I like people that poke, but we can't pretend this is equal, right?
No.
I don't respect anybody till we give you 40. Are you dumb?
Apparently. That's like, I know you saw the clip. Getting taped up at the All-Star game. Mutombo is going to say, Michael, you never dunked on me.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you're getting dunked on and you're getting finger whacked.
Right.
Why tell him that you never got me, Mike? Well, the next thing he'll do is get you.
Right. So, and then LeBron goes 20-20, finishes with a left hand that Dillon Brooks said he couldn't do. And then they lose by 40 in game 6.
20-40, imagine that.
So Memphis, I think they beat Minnesota last year in the playoffs, right? They've only got the one win. You slow your roll, man. Like, particularly in NBA, you got to take your lumps, right? Like, I'm rooting for the Kings. I was rooting for the Kings because of Fox and Monk. But sometimes you gotta lose those games.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to everybody.
And I was surprised. We said it. I said it. I was like, man, Sacramento's just better than them. And the way it looked at the time.
That was true, but Steph was like, I got this.
Yeah.
But what I told you came to pass, right? About the Western Conference, right? Okay, Denver's a different beast. But do you trust Sacramento? Do you trust Memphis?
The 3 and the 2 and the 3. Yeah.
Do you trust them? And all I'm saying is what I said to you. Hey, Lakers just steal one against Memphis. See what happens.
Yep.
Now I don't know. Again, I'm not saying the Lakers will win the series against Golden State, but you got one
already.
And it was crazy because I told Kate before the game started, I was like, you know what? AD is going to have to be like a 30-15 guy if the Lakers are going to win this series. And then he goes out and gets 30 and 23. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because the Lakers have, and this is what I want to talk to you about real quick too.
Oh, yeah, we good. Because Cuz ain't coming on for about another 10 minutes. So
I loved it last night. I put this on Twitter because I ain't trying to fight people. The Warriors hit all those threes. The Warriors hit all those threes. And their fans talking about we can't go. If you're 60% of your shots are 3-point shots, you're not initiating contact. Shut up. But if you got an AD, you feed him, let him shoot free throws. You drive to the basket, right? Having AD in the paint, what gets underrated about the Warriors is Steph, while no Kyrie, he got some finishing moves at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got AD, which we saw at the end of the game, he tried to go up over AD. AD like, nah, we're not having that.
Mm-hmm.
When you have somebody shut off the paint, now they have to shoot those shots, right? And our man Jared Vanderbilt, as good as you can do,
Mm-hmm.
played Steph really, really well. Now, the key is, again, that back and forth, that one-day arrest, that's got me concerned for what I think will be at least a 6-game series,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what I'm looking at there is, okay, can AD keep playing at this level? I think he can.
Yep.
The other role players are playing really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, last night, do you think Jordan Poole's going to go 6 of 11 from 3 again? I don't.
No, he all over the place.
Man, I love to zero in on Steph on that shot. Like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Hero time. But you know what? My thing is, can a championship team have AD as their best player? I believe so. I believe so. And if LeBron, and I talked about this when they signed AD to that extension after the 2020 bubble, right? I said, if AD can become that dude, and I still believe what I've seen in this playoffs, look, he's setting a record for Lakers big men, which by itself means something.
Yeah.
And that's, because, ESPN stats and info, this is the first 30-20 game since Shaq.
Yeah.
But Elgin Baylor got one. Wilt got one. Obviously, I think Kareem got one. I'm like, when you say you can be an all-time great Laker big man, that's Mikan, Wilt, Kareem, Shaq.
Andrew Bynum and Travis Knight.
I knew you was gonna do that, but that's a pretty big, that's a pretty good fraternity right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if AD's doing stuff to compare to those guys, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
he stays healthy. It's all about the health.
The game plan is we're gonna go inside. Now, this is the chess move, right? Like JR was talking about. Will we see Looney and Draymond together? Maybe not, but that changes up other things they can do.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is AD's he's a very flexible defender.
True.
That's why I told Adam, like, if he out here blocking jump shots, which he did last night, that's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
He still can close out. Like, he is still athletic enough to close out on some shots.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, I'm rooting for the Lakers to win. I know you don't want it, but I'm rooting for them to win. One, I need them to get more championships in Boston. I just need that for my soul. And two, I'm back to staying up late. It was different these last couple of years. Lakers not in the playoffs. I was able to go to bed in May and June. But now the Lakers are late. I'm like,
I tapped out last night. I'm trying to remember what the score was. I can't. I wanted to, say I could watch it all, but it's like Bomani said, I'm running low.
well, yeah, because that's my squad. I want to watch it live, and I don't because I almost went to bed on LeBron's 2020 game. And I watched that on my phone. I almost went to bed on that, but I'm like, I gotta watch. I'll make do. The dog went to sleep on me. He like, ooh, that's late for me. The dog done his thing. I was like, I gotta do it. That is the downside with your Rockets being on deep runs
Mhm.
until the finals, and it's more regulated toward the East Coast.
Mhm.
It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know if I made it to halftime. I know it was. I don't remember.
Well, I felt good because the Lakers was up 2 at half,
Mm.
but the Warriors was hitting all these threes and they weren't getting any distance
Right.
because the Lakers just kept grinding.
Mhm.
Right. And it's like,
I was just weathering the storm. Huh?
yeah. And it's like, okay, you get a 3, we get a couple of 2s and an and 1.
Yeah.
You get a 3, and yeah, you can't trade 2 for 3. I know how math works,
Mhm.
analytics guys, but if you've got a situation where you can shoot 60% from the paint and they're shooting 20% from 3, the math starts to even out a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah. It'll tilt to your favor.
Right. And that's what happened. So I'm excited. But Denver looks good. We got to talk about Jokovic, Jokovic, he looks good, but Embiid win the MVP.
Mhm.
I think part of it is because, he deserved it. The second part, like we talked about before, that 3-time MVP list, if I'm an NBA voter, because we know this sometimes happens, right? Kareem probably should have had more MVPs. Mike should have probably had one more MVP, right?
Mhm.
Should have had a couple of more. You're just like, I don't know. We got to do something different.
Yeah.
And for me, again, 3 MVPs seems to be the barrier.
Mhm.
That just seems to be like, we're not doing that.
Right. Yeah. Just a clear drawing a line in the sand. You can't.
Because right now, Joker and Steve Nash are the only 2-time MVPs to not play in the finals.
Mhm. And that's egregious in itself.
And with Joker, like I think we've talked about this before, with Joker getting a third one, every other 3-time MVP has also been a finals MVP. So your 3-timers are Moses, Magic, Bird, right? And then you got LeBron and MJ and Kareem. I think I'm missing somebody. Russell? I'd have to look it up again. But those are your people with 3. Everybody else has been a finals MVP. Not just gotten there, but
Right.
won it and been the best player in the series. That's
Mhm.
rarefied air. When we
Mhm.
start thinking about the greats that don't have multiple MVPs, that's Shaq, that's Kobe.
Mm.
Steph doesn't have 3. And there's a chance, he's going to finish in that top 10 category. 3 seems to be the barrier.
Mhm.
And so,
we can't let you have
right.
a third when you ain't even sniffed the final.
Right or wrong, right or wrong, I think if Denver gets to the finals and then Jokic comes back next year with similar or better numbers, I think he would win it.
Gets
But
to the finals?
gets to the
Just
finals.
gets there. Not
I
even
think
wins.
I think if he gets there, you kind of see what happens. If it's Boston, if it's Miami, whoever it is.
Mhm.
Now, Jokic versus Embiid. If my Lakers don't win it, Jokic and Embiid, that's going to be a good series.
Mhm.
And you got Harden versus Murray, and you got Maxey versus Michael Porter Jr. That's a pretty good matchup. But
Mhm.
it's going to be late. It's going to be Lakers Celtics. So let's go ahead and
Harden coming through like I wish he would have one time with my Rockets.
I've come around a little bit on James Harden. I used to not be a James Harden dude, but yeah, he's kind of bounced around, but I never felt like he quit. I know. I mean, I know he quit to get out of Houston, but he's been able to adapt his game, and I didn't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah.
So
I
I
didn't
give
think
him
it worked.
I give him credit for that, but
Mhm.
uh, yeah, it could be Lakers Celtics for the
But
50-11th time.
he could. I mean, I again hadn't even we hadn't thought about the refs' travel schedule. I had not even thought about Lakers Celtics, but man,
Could
I
be.
mean,
But
it's possible. Yeah.
in for me, this season right here is kind of like the Kentucky 2014 season or 2011 season. It's kind of house money, which is a rarity for Lakers fandom because it's either championship or bust
Mhm.
or we're terrible, right? Like there's no let's just see what happens. Like that's not what we're built to do.
Mhm.
Because again, 8 championships in 40 years, it's been more, right? So it's fun. You start out 2-10. And I'm
Yeah.
glad JR gave a shout out to Palinka because when those trades happened, the trade deadline, they were the 13th seed.
Yes. Oh, see that
And get to the 7th seed because I went back and I read a lot of the stuff. What are the Lakers doing? They didn't get anything. They got some pieces. I also going back, look, I remember earlier this year, a lot of folks, our man Bomani Jones included, who won the AD trade? The Pelicans or the Lakers? Well, considering the Pelicans have probably been on vacation for a month and a half, and AD's putting up numbers equal to Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain,
Mhm.
gee, I wonder. And even without this, the point is you always win a championship, whatever the trade is, right?
Mhm.
As a Rockets fan, bringing in Clyde Drexler, you kind of alienated Mad Max, but do you do it?
Yeah.
To win a championship, yes, you do. That,
Mhm.
I don't care. Like the players that the Lakers sent out to Milwaukee, solid players. Junior Bridgman, I think, was part of that thing. Great for them.
Yeah.
But who won the championships?
Mhm.
Period.
Yep.
Who won the trade with for Herschel Walker? Who won that trade?
Yeah, we won it. Cowboys, Jimmy and the boys, man. Because I mean,
But
pick,
yeah, but I come across so many New Orleans things. Uh, yeah, of course we want to trade. No, man, like no, because
when when Mark Spears is putting out an article Anscape about CJ McCollum saying this is the most trying season mentally and physically that he's ever had to go through.
and
I mean,
look, Brandon Ingram was nice, right?
yeah.
I
Mhm.
taught Brandon Ingram, all those guys, ball. I'm like, man, these young cats can do something, right? We had Randall, right? We had that young squad, which again is completely different than how the Lakers do things.
That's it.
I'm like a young squad, okay, but if you got a chance to get generational talent, Anthony Davis, you do it 10 times out of 10. That's stop being dumb.
Mhm. We're gonna keep this going. We got our guest on here. Just finished taping segments for TV. That's what you do when you're the sports director at Fox 56 News. Friend of the show, Heat fan, not Laker fan. Your cousin TV, Mitch Brown, is kind enough to join us again. Mitch, man, how you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing good. You guys got me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
good to go, man. Welcome
Yeah.
aboard.
I appreciate you guys. I hear you guys. I pop in and you guys are talking NBA. I'm a little I can't even lie. I'm a little hurt. I got Scott Foster
got Scott Foster.
last night. My Heat took that loss and that one hurt. We're not supposed to be here, but that
But
one hurt a little bit. I
but
can't
being
lie.
a Heat guy, Jimmy Butler has played himself into Hall of Fame. Like I when we talked Vinny during the bubble championship, I'm like, can you be good if Jimmy Butler is your best player? And I underestimate him, and that was a couple of years ago. Now it's like you can build a franchise around that dude, which the Heat have.
Yeah, I was so confused. This season I have not I didn't buy into their plan. They said they were going to have Caleb Martin be the 4 around Jimmy, and I'm like, Bam, Bam has ascended in aspects of his game, but I knew offensively he wasn't going to be able to be that guy. So Jimmy just kind of, cruised through the season after the All-Star break, took it up another level. But when he gets into play, like he came in, I don't think realize 2020 came in, takes over for D-Wade, and he takes the team to the finals in his first season. I mean, his jersey 22 is going up in the Heat's arena at this point, especially dumping off the Bucks in 5, all things considered.
Where were you at in your reaction to that clincher on the road in Milwaukee?
It's funny. I was at the draft. It was around this time last week. I was at the NFL draft. It was Wednesday night. I met up with a bunch of different people from different, walks. Panthers beat. You had the Texans beat there. So keep in mind, I'm simultaneously getting, intel and insight on Will Levis and what those teams are thinking. So we're all watching the game, 16-point game. I turn to my producer, Bryce, and I'm like, fight. Fight. It's all good. And they come up from behind, and that shot by Jimmy, you can't, how do you make that shot to tie the game, go to overtime, and then he's barking? At that point, I said, oh, we're about to win this game. Milwaukee's broken. And you saw what happened, man. He didn't let them lose that game. We're all in the bar. We're standing up. It was kind of chill. There's one TV, a little section, so we were watching that, man. I was standing up, man, on the little stool. I was turned up, man. I can't lie.
Well, and that's the one thing I love about the NBA, I was telling Vinny earlier, is one dude can just take a game over on both ends. Like, you can't do nothing with me. And I love those moments. And like you said, once Jimmy, there's that switch, like, oh, okay. He's balling. And the rest of the Heat just kind of fall in line. And that's what you need.
Yeah, especially in the postseason. Like, you're looking at these scores, right? It's not 130 to 125 anymore. It's like, 97, 102, 108, 101. It's like dudes have clamped up, man. And, when you start actually playing defense, you see which dudes really can go out there and get to their spots and create. Jalen Brunson has been great at it this postseason. Anthony Davis has been great at it in spurts this postseason. And, other guys, Jokic has been getting to his spots and dominating DeAndre Ayton. So those guys are really taking the game in a chokehold now. Jason Tatum has done it at times this season. And shoot, we saw James Harden turn back the clock and go back to 2018 MVP the other night. So we'll see if they can do it again. But again, man, I think this playoffs, the theme of it all is the old cats. They still got it. And you still got to know how to take over a game. That comes with experience.
Mm-hmm. And experience and health, because the injury front is crazy. It started with game 1 in the first round, and it really hasn't stopped. So just whoever can tape it up and strap it up the best come June is who's going to get the trophy.
Yeah, so I feel like it always goes that way, right? It's like, people always try and discredit a ring. Because, such and such was injured. Well, I'm like, well, every championship team, got a lucky bounce somewhere, so you just, outside of Dirk in 2011, I mean, and Giannis's run was pretty impressive too, but those are the runs you think about. And obviously LeBron, coming back from 3-1, it's like, dang, man, they beat the odds, so everybody has a lucky bounce, and like you said, health and durability. If you get to June healthy, shoot, you got a chance to win it all.
Now, you mentioned that you were out there in KC for the draft. Went out there because, look, TV and I've been talking. I'm not a huge draft guy. I don't. I'm glad it's cool. It's become what it has become over the past 40 years, starting out from the small beginnings. It's an event. That's cool. They move from city to city, and the fans roll in and do their thing. But, if a Kentucky player is not projected to go high, I'll just kind of check my phone to see what the Cowboys are doing. But that's kind of how I do it. I'll see where the notable names will go, where the the first 5, 8, 10 picks, and then that's it. But Will Levis was projected to go in the first round at some point. You went out there. Other media from Kentucky was out there. So the whole vibe, the whole setup, what was it like out there in Kansas City, leading up to it, and then the night of the first round, the whole thing. Man, what was it like?
Man, it was such an interesting draft process. I went to the first outdoor draft in 2017 in Philly. So it was cool to get back to an outdoor draft to return to it like 6 years later. And it was a great setup, for the fans. It was one way in, one way out. Like, there wasn't too much commotion. Kansas City, kind of a slower pace, place. It's probably the slowest pace they've had, compared to Vegas and Philly and Chicago and whatnot. So I thought they did a pretty good job hosting. You knew where stuff was. You knew, you felt safe. I thought all that was great. You get inside for the media. I thought that was a solid setup too. It's all in this one central location. So it makes it easy. You see the draft pick. All right, let me get over to the press conference room. Let's talk to Bryce Young. Let's get him one-on-one. So I was like, man, this is going to be perfect. Will is going to go inside the top 10, and we're going to be able to go get him and get him on for Fox 56 at 10. We get past, pick 4, get pick 3. We're like, all right, cool. Here's the show. Let's get ready. Is the web story ready? Pick 4 comes up. They go Aaron Richardson. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. Pick 11. Yeah. Tennessee. It makes sense. They had him in for a top 30. They came to Lexington. They go with an offensive lineman. I'm like, maybe the Raiders say we'll let him sit behind Jimmy Garoppolo. No. So it just you could kind of feel. You saw Mark Stoops come in. He walked in before the draft began. Liam Cohen was down there. There was a promise. You don't, as a head coach, come. Obviously, he was invited. They all thought he was going first round. We thought he was going first round. That was the intel that we had. But great smoke screen on the behalf of the Colts. They were able to get their guy Anthony Richardson without having to trade up. I don't think anybody was going to trade up for Anthony Richardson after the film we saw this past year. But again, I mean, it was, you had Texans fans saying, please not Will. You had Panthers fans saying, please not Will. And you had Colts fans saying the same thing. So you had 3 fan bases saying that. But the Colts, it made sense, I guess, with Anthony Richardson, Jalen Hurts. Shane Steichen is a guy that was able to get Jalen Hurts to where he was as the OC out there in Philly. But the Colts need to win. They need to win games. So I was just confused at it. But again, I thought it was a big detriment for Kentucky not to get that quarterback to go in the first round. I thought it was gonna move the program forward if that happened. Because there's nothing like getting a first-round quarterback pick. Josh Allen, great for the program as well, being a monumental first-round pick. But again, we know that the 2 most important pieces for a franchise in the NFL are the quarterback and the head coach. So I thought it was going to be huge for Kentucky, but it didn't happen. And so he left out, early Friday morning. We headed back as well. But just an eerie vibe, just a weird first round, right? You got running backs going in the top 10 again, but only 3 quarterbacks go in the first round. And that was just an interesting first round as I've seen in a while.
I don't know if you caught it since you were there, but Awful Announcing, who I love, covers the sports media landscape, was just talking about they were going to try to not zero in on that. There's always one year that one guy that's in the green room forever and ever. And I'm like, well, that's what they said beforehand. They weren't going to do it. But every time I looked up on my TV, there was Will Levis. And it's like, at some point, we got to move on from that. Like, what are we doing to this young man? For what purpose? That was my only thing. Because I'm like, Will's going to be okay. If he goes in the second round, he's going to be fine. But I just didn't want him to become a meme of sitting in the green room like that. That was my only real gripe with the whole situation. Because that first round is a long first round. There's 15 minutes in between picks or whatever it is.
It's bad.
That's a long time to sit there.
I think we need to go to the fantasy football snake draft style. 90 seconds. Like, if you don't know, you didn't scout, then we need to move on, and you get auto drafted and you get relegated. That's awful, man. The first round has come such pomp and circumstance, and it's just not entertaining. It's a terrible experience for the fans out there, right? Because think about it, you're waiting 15 minutes on there, but you're at least getting some type of commentary. Maybe it's bad, maybe it's good, but at least you have some type of filler there.
Right.
You're in the stands or you're standing up out there, you're just standing up, and there's maybe a music selection or two, but yeah, it's not. So again, I think the biggest thing, like you guys said, was just that I hated seeing him like that because we've covered Will for the past couple of years, and all the stuff that was out there and that you knew was going to come, the smear campaign and whatnot, him being arrogant. I never got that vibe. Coaching him and covering him are two different things. I get that, but I just thought there were some interesting national takes from people that weren't inside the program every day.
And my thing was, an arrogant quarterback, get out of here. I'm
Right.
watching the NFL every Sunday. An arrogant quarter, come on now.
I'm no moral police. I want my quarterback to bark. That's just
right. I
want him to
mean,
bark.
that like you telling me Patrick Mahomes ain't out there, letting everybody know how good he is.
He said,
Joe
"I'm
Burrow,
him." You saw it.
yeah.
I'm
Joe
him.
Burrow ain't doing that. Lamar ain't doing that. Like, if my quarterback come hip here mealy mouth, no, you got to go. Like, you got to say it with your chest.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man, and that never sat right with me. I knew that Will was a gamer after that Louisville game, my first taste of the rivalry, and he ran for 3 in like the first quarter, 3 tutties, and I was like, oh, he's throwing the L's down every time. I'm like, okay, he's barking, but he's backing it up, right?
Right.
We just saw in the first round for a player in the NBA not to be named, you bark and you back down. No, if you lose, you get back up. You don't run away from the grind. I don't think Will ever ran away from the grind, especially this year. Every time he had a couple of bad games, he would answer the questions and he would answer it in an elaborative way. So I'm interested to see. At least he landed with a franchise that has some semblance of competency, and it's a situation that can work out for him. Malik Willis is probably on the way out for them. That staff isn't a fan. Ryan Tannehill in the last year of his deal, kind of in the twilight of his career. So it's a situation that works out for him. There's no pressure on Will. Just go in there, learn, get people on your side, and then you're one play away. Be ready.
And we talked about it too before you came on. I like the fact that all those guys were in the same division. He's in the division with Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson with Houston and Indy. So for the foreseeable future, they'll be, and Will's gonna have that chip, and you get to go head to head with those guys. You already beat Anthony in the swamp last year, and now at some point they'll be starting quarterbacks against each other, young guns in that AFC South for the foreseeable future. So it'll be fun to watch that stuff shake out.
Yeah, that division is actually in great shape. Like you said, you got Trevor Lawrence too. That probably is one of the premier divisions when it comes to young quarterbacks. So it'll be great to watch that. So
absolutely, man. I know you got stuff going on and taping segments, and you took time to hop on here with us, man. What you got for the good people on Fox 56, man? What y'all got coming down the pipe?
Man, we're in Derby week, so I'm actually here at Churchill Downs right now, but I always got time for y'all, so appreciate you having me on. But yeah, we've been doing Derby coverage all week. Caught up with the Derby 148 Versailles native winner, Eric Reed. He won last year as a trainer for Rich Strike. I wish I would have put $5 down on Rich Strike, right? 80-1, like that's a nice day. So
I've told Vinny I've only picked 2 Derby winners.
Yeah.
1984 in first grade, I picked Swale out of a hat. In 2009, Big Brown, because I had to put money on Big Brown, right? Like I had to put some money on Big Brown.
We were both rooting for Big Brown.
That's exactly. And we did win that Triple Crown. I'm like, oh, I'm right there with you. But enjoy the Derby. It's always fun. That I was telling Vinny that Friday night, that's the good parties. Saturday nights where you got the $40 cover to get into a dive bar. So be careful about that. But it's always a great time to be in Louisville is around Derby time. I'm very proud of my hometown and my home state. I'll throw you in there too, Vinny.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Tell me where to go, man. I know you're a Louisville legend, so tell me you gotta tell me offline where to go, man.
Hey, all the spots I go to, they're closed up, man.
It's true. Anything post 2020 is still open.
Yeah, man. All my spots all closed up. So always good to have you on, Cousin B.
Yes,
always
sir.
Good. We appreciate you doing strong work out there, man.
Appreciate
sir,
you guys. We'll catch up soon.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Mitch. Thank you much, man. Mitch Brown, Fox 56, hopping on here. Give us that little drip.
From Churchill Downs, man.
Yeah.
I was doing good until I'm trying to think who put out the picture of Churchill Downs. I was like, man, I'm homesick. But I'm gonna try to get the missus to go next year though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get. I was like, but you got to get a hat.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know if I need a hat. I said, Mama B. She said, you got to have a hat if you're going to the Derby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to make that Derby 150, baby.
Mm-hmm. And you've been to how many Cubs games? So come down there for the Derby one time for sure.
Oh yeah, we got to go. We're not going to the infield. Heck no, not going no, man. Yeah. I did that in my 20s. I can't do it now.
Yeah, let's just nod and say we did.
Yeah, man. I can't be like Mitch talked about standing around the draft. I can't stand around for no couple hours. My knees hurt.
We got our final guest on here. This young lady making her first appearance on the show with us. I've interacted with her on those Rave On Sports Twitter streets, been in there hosting some chats together and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, she was in there. She's young, so she still kind of rides with the Hawks. I kind of cut that off when Dominique got traded. But we was in the Hawks, Celtics, Rave On Sports chat. She hosts Kalling Plays with Kailey on Fridays and Wednesdays at 7. We have Kalling Plays. Follow her there. Joining us right now. Kailey, how you doing? Thank you for joining.
Hey, I'm great. How are y'all doing?
Thank you for joining us. Always good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And you just finished recording, right? That's why you had to come on at 8 instead of 7, right?
So no, I did not record. We had to reschedule it due to prom and stuff coming up. Yeah.
Well, tell us about your podcast, Kalling Plays with Kailey. Tell them where they can listen. Tell them what they're going to get and all that.
So you can find me on Twitter at Kalling Plays, Kalling with a K. You can find me on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Apple, Overcast, Anchor. I'm everywhere.
Hey, definitely.
And look, some of them I don't know, but I'm old. I gotta get my 14-year-old to help me out. She's always talking about the next joint. I'm like, Twitter. She's like, no, old man, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
And look, I've heard the name Haley or Bailey, but Kailey with a K is unique. So is there something that your parents come up with, or a story to how they came up with Kailey?
So it's this street in Florida called Kailey Avenue, and that's how my mom came up with the name. But it's spelled Kailey down there, but mine is Kailey.
Okay, you scared me. I thought I just spelled yours wrong.
No.
All right, okay.
No.
So you from Florida?
I'm from Georgia.
From Georgia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And still a Hawks fan right now. You kind
of. I'm a Hawks fan, and I'm really sad right now.
Yeah.
Are you buying into Trae Young being the I guess the man, for lack of better phrasing?
The future?
There you go.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Yes. Okay, so I have something to throw out there. Have y'all heard of NBA players saying that Trae Young is the most overrated player?
Yes.
Really?
There was a poll. I saw that on the Athletic.
Yeah.
I just found out about this today, and I did not know that at all.
The other guys in the league he got the most votes.
Oh my gosh.
So you rock with Trae. You cool with him?
So I'm gonna break down a little story for you how I became an Atlanta Hawks fan. So 2013, 2015 era, you had Jeff T, you had Korver, Millsap, you had everyone. You had Bazemore, you had Smith, and I fell in love with Atlanta during the time. We were really good. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could mess with us back then. We were really good. And then I don't know what happened. But that's still my team, though. I'm going to stick beside them.
Yes.
But
Don't let Vinny clown you about liking the Hawks. He
No.
been rooting for the Cowboys for 30 years, and
Y'all never going to the Super Bowl.
they ain't won but
Oh!
2 playoff games in 30 years. So don't let Vinny be clowning you.
One day we will be going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Not even the finals, Eastern Conference Finals, and you'd be good with that.
Again, don't let Vinny clown you. He a Rockets fan.
Well,
And it's been a
y'all
long
aren't
time
going.
since the Rockets been to the final.
We
So
down.
don't let Vinny.
Yeah,
We
have
down.
y'all been to the finals?
Before you was born twice, yeah, 95, 94, 95, and
Well-
won 2 titles, got 2 trophies.
Well,
And now we're dealing with adults that don't remember that, Vinny. So
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, we down bad right now. We just got a new coach.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what Ime can do. I don't know if Neil Long gonna be in the Toyota Center or not.
oh
But,
Vinny, go man.
I mean, I don't know, but we down bad right now. We down bad.
yeah. He's gonna be most definitely at someone's strip club getting real lit.
Mm. Yeah, he
James
says
Harden let him know what's up. Right, James?
He's gonna be so lit. Yeah.
absolutely. And back to your podcast, Kalling Plays with Kailey. Listen to a couple episodes. You do a really good job of like bringing a lot of young athletes on, like
I love
younger than
babies.
yourself, like high schoolers, kids that are coming up, and you kind of get them exposure and you talk to them. I don't know if they've maybe never been on podcasts before, but you take the time to interview them and find out, where they're going, what they're doing. That's really cool how you do that.
Yes. So the youngest that I've had was 10 years old, a little girl. Yes, and she did so good.
Man. So how
Yeah.
do you reach out to you? Go through the parents or they got the little
So-
Instagram or
Sometimes I'll reach out or I'll make a tweet saying like who's interested in doing an interview before I wrap my season up. And then a bunch of kids just start DMing me and I was like, I want an opportunity, and I'm all about giving out opportunities. Like I love helping people.
man,
And I want to see these kids succeed,
and you can tell, and it's little quick episodes, 5, 6, 7 minute episodes.
Yeah,
Put on and just go.
yeah, because kids, they can't sit still. So that's why they be so short. And I could tell like during the episodes, like, okay, they're ready to get off and we're just gonna end it. And when I post it, their parents text me saying, thank you so much. And just sending me loving and caring words. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And then they tag me on all of their videos and workouts. And I just love that,
Yeah, I think that's unique. Everybody's got different angles they're trying to take, and people want to go at this way or talk to these, and you just taking the young kids angle. I think that's really unique. It really is.
Yes, I
absolutely.
love my kids. I call them my kids. And people be like, you have kids? No, I'm talking about my kids that I work with. They are my kids.
That is it. And they're not going to keep you too long, but I know you said all the platforms your podcast is on. You said you're from Georgia. I saw on your Twitter profile at Kalling Plays with a K that you big time. You trying to come in,
I'm big
low key, but you got a couple billboards up of yourself in 2 cities. Tell us about that right quick now.
So I got my first billboard last year. It was in Opelika, Alabama. That was my very first billboard. And then in April, the same year, I ended up getting another billboard in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, big time TV.
Opelika, that's close to Auburn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there we go.
Like 2 minutes. Just drive down the street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I've had magazine interviews too. And stuff is going really great for me. I'm blessed to be in this situation. I wanted to give up so many times, but I just couldn't,
And that's the advice we tell folks, because we've been doing this for, I don't even know, Vinny. Do you want to say how long we've been doing this?
10, 9, 10 years.
I think it's getting close to 11, but who's counting? But the point is, Kailey, is that folks start out, it's like with anything, right? Everybody starts out with this, I'm a run, I'm a lose weight. You start out with this. That's not how things are done, right? It's that consistent where even when you want to give up, even when you don't want to do it, you keep doing it. And you're giving these kids an opportunity that they're going to take with them and who knows what they're going to do with it.
You're right. And people tell me all the time, like, hey, these kids are going to remember you forever. And I'm like, yeah, they are. Because I put them on my show and I gave them exposure, and boom, they're doing wonderful. And some of the kids have even got opportunities off of me. And they come back and say, hey, Miss Kailey, thank you so much for this. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about right there.
Yep. I love them so much, all of them.
Yeah, we just wanted to have you on and talk about that, and just thankful that you took the time, because you don't know us, and you're like, but you still were kind enough to.
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for
Yeah.
reaching out to me. When y'all DM me, I was like, I said, what? And then another podcast actually just DM'd me saying, hey, I want to work with you. I was like, okay, why not? I'm about to end my season until August. I need to enjoy my summer, and so do these children.
Absolutely.
Breaks are needed. So I'll be back in August. I'm about to record a couple of episodes with some kids and my intern student. So that's about it.
Hey, well, good stuff. Relax enough for us and enjoy that time off, and have to get you back on sometime when you get back in.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Kailey.
All right, and I'm signing out, y'all.
All right. Thank you much, man.
Kalling Plays with Kailey. All three guests came through TV.
Man.
They are Mitch Brown and Kailey with Kalling Plays with Kailey. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. Now next week, I would say we got a legend. We got another heavy hitter coming through. Fellow Kentuckian. We've seen him every year doing that Derby coverage on NBC. I'm talking about Kenny Rice is supposed to come through next week.
Okay.
After covering another Derby, get that Derby perspective and Kentucky football and basketball. He can talk it all. We got Kenny coming in next week.
Did you see friend of the show, Roy Wood Jr. tear it up at the Washington White House Correspondents' Dinner? He been on. Talked to my mom. Went to the beauty shop. Told them all. Oh yeah, that boy. Oh yeah, he been on my boy's show.
That's right.
A couple of times.
Yeah, he was rolling. He got on the road there.
I'm happy for Roy and everything like that, and but another great show, man. You sent me this fire list of guests. I'm like, maybe I can take this week off again.
Let somebody come in and just carry it.
It's going, Vinny gonna make this. Vinny doing Cats Talk. I might be on the way out.
No, absolutely.
Under no circumstances, you might hit me with the Dillon Brooks.
Never that.
I'm gonna scan my key card. It's not gonna work.
Never
keep having great guests on.
Never that. Try to. Sometimes I feel like it's some little stretches where I don't get anybody, which is fine. Which you and I do what we do, but then sometimes you get somebody, and then sometimes it's just bam, bam, bam.
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy this. Like we're telling Kailey, I remember when we started this, and it's like, hey, we put Wednesday in the name, so every Wednesday, and so telling people like, hey, when we do this about 48, 49 Wednesdays a year. If it's you by yourself, me by myself, but rarely do we not have something. Even when Kentucky was playing on all those Wednesdays, and the games are going on, that's part of it. So I always enjoy it. We've been doing this for a long, long time. I think we're heading into 10, 11 years. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. People ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. We've been doing this for a while.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, definitely enjoy it for sure. Roy's so big time. We don't bother him a whole lot. Let a lot of time go by, but get him on again and down the road. But it was cool of him to do it this last time, just a few months ago, and
made me look good in front of my wife. Just shout out to the 2016 Cubs. I'm like, gotta ask, man. Help a brother out with this now.
He had somebody's autographed ball and he put it up, I don't know if it was Anthony.
Anthony Rizzo. It was
Yeah.
Anthony Rizzo. Yeah.
So,
But
stuff.
enjoy all of our guests. I mean, just one day I was just sitting, just trying to think of all the guests. We had a lot of people
Mhm.
from all over the place. We've talked NASCAR. We've talked, good friend of the show, Craig Bates, comes in with his hockey knowledge. And he was right. Talking about Boston
Wow.
losing to Florida. He was
Wow.
right. He's like, well, the goaltending, and yay, verily, it came to pass. So he was right about that.
Swooped everybody all year. And
Yeah.
then, invincible at home and lost 3 in a row in TG or TD, whatever it is, the new Boston Garden.
Yeah. Well, and so I've seen some people talk about, setting that record. Does it translate to winning a championship? And I would say recently, no.
Yeah.
But the Bulls won
Mm-hmm.
when they went 72-10. And before that, the Lakers win 69 games after that 33-game win streak.
Yeah.
So recently, yes. Or you look at the Patriots, but the last team to go through the regular season undefeated, the Dolphins, won it. So, I think recently, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Another good show, like you said. You can get it on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify and all those other podcast platforms. Some of them that Kailey mentioned that we own there and we don't even know we own there.
I don't know, man. I let my 14-year-old help me out.
BSTVlive.com. Click on demand. You can watch us on there on the Roku and all that. So lots of ways to get to us, man. TV and this episode that we enjoyed so much will be up there with all the others, man.
All right, man. Sounds good, Vinny. Always good, buddy.
Appreciate it. We'll, see what happens between now and next week. Everybody relax. Maybe there'll be some basketball additions. Maybe there won't. Just relax. He's either going to commit to Kentucky or he won't. Just relax. And if he does, we'll talk about that next week. And we'll talk about these playoffs. Hopefully the Warriors will be up.
Uh-oh.
We'll end the recording. Hit the wrong button, y'all. We're going to roll right on out and hit this outro. And we'll talk to everybody later on.